Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Skeleton Crew Season 1, Episode 8, titled The Real Good Guys. A journey filled with adventure comes to a surprising end. So, this is the finale of the season, and as far as I know, the series as a whole. And I will say that it's been pretty good, like really good. But there was my issues with the last episode, episode 7, and I'm sure they're going to be built not built upon, the opposite, broken down in this episode. But I do also know that Disney, when it comes to these shows, does sort of struggle to stick the landing in most of them, including some of the good ones. So I'm coming into this with slightly lowered expectations and am hoping to be surprised, if that makes sense. Now, speaking of the last episode, I made a mistake when I questioned Reynolds starting his journey at Aten because he had the Mint ship. He either stole that from one of the other planets or he just commandeered it when the Republic was offboarding all of the credits. Don't know which one it is, but there's nothing to say that he started at Aten. Also, I figured out what some of my issue with the last episode is, and it's thanks to Adam over at Previewed for putting it into words. It feels like Jude Law's character is overacting with his evil turn, as in Jod himself is pretending too hard to be a vicious pirate. Like, it came seemingly out of nowhere that all of a sudden he is this completely antagonistic force, when that is not how we've seen him throughout the rest of the season. And so if you combine that with the theory I saw a few days ago about Jod trying to live too strictly by his old Jedi teachings, the attachments are something you should get rid of. Your perception shapes your reality, which apparently is a Qui-Gon quote. And I think maybe Jod's sudden betrayal is because he was feeling attachment to these kids. So he's trying to force them away. There's also the fact that the Jedi dogma about attachments would have been compounded upon with the whole pirates can't even trust their own crew in the face of treasure, so don't form attachments because you're going to be betrayed. And the Jedi attachments are something you should avoid. Suddenly, he's actually taking to, oh, I care about these kids? Get the fuck away from me. But that might not be the case. Maybe he's been playing them the whole time. But we'll find out in this episode. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Also, when it comes to the title of The Real Good Guys, all I can think of is the X-Wings. I forgot about the beacon KB can send up. But that sort of reveals this planet to the New Republic. I've also seen people saying that it didn't seem like he was comfortable wielding that lightsaber in the last episode. Just the way that he was moving it around didn't seem like someone who's been trained in the finer arts of lightsaber wielding. Maybe regretting that snark a little bit. But, okay, so we are going to see the supervisor. If we're taking one of the kids there, is that a hot pot? You didn't pick up on what he was trying to say. So she knows who she's actually met them. Okay, that sort of gets rid of the whole supervisor's dead thing. I mean, he's a kid. That is a sort of good cover story. Okay, maybe not. I thought there was a thick layer of dust. Hmm. Hmm. Which republic are you talking about? You got Order 66 out here, did you? It's got some training. Alright, must all droids be hive-minded? I have to question. This is an American show. Why was it mummy with a U, not an O? I'm not used to seeing our spelling in subtitles. Once again, all he ever does is threaten. We've never actually seen him hurt someone. Include the frigate, but what about the other little ships? Neil really likes his baths. Is that really necessary? Oh, they've got their bike. But how are you going to get the ship? I need your bike. What was the dude just sitting there for? Yep, I called it. That's not really staying hidden. Hell, it is Vane. There has been some debate as to whether that is actually... That was the guy from... What was it? It was a Mando? I mean, it makes sense that KB knows how to jump the gap. That's probably the most exciting thing your dad's done in his life. And right near the supervisor's tower is the school, which Neil knows something very specific about. And only Neil knows about it. Or did he speak to them about it? KB does. How do you unlock it? Wendell probably knows. I am glad they got his dad into this. Yeah, he's got some pretty good ears. I think that's the first time we've actually seen Neil's dad in motion. Did you now? Not. I would have more gone with the not if it's from an add-in device. I mean, shooting it probably freed up its hands. You mean the ship with all the treasure on it? Uh-oh. Hmm. Hopefully that blow to the head didn't knock her orgs out. Seemed almost regretful. She just made it. There was no explosion or anything. It leveled out just as it hit the ground. Just before. Yeah. They will if that lever gets pulled. I'm touching it. Desperate Ragged Jedi. So you aren't really a Order 66 survivor. I thought it was running to kick him in the shin. And make sure you're pointing it the right way now. Farah's going to be the one to pull the lever, isn't she? Ow! That was bending his fingers backwards. Why did you... Like, there's no way Wim would have been able to protect himself, let alone Fern, with that lightsaber. If John had have decided to shoot. Yet he throws away his weapon. I was about to say, at least she's making sure all her men get on the ship properly, but... And there was a guy running behind. Oh, what are those? Even after anything, he's still... was trying to save him. I thought that the ship was going to be coming straight for the supervisor's tower. I mean, that could have gone worse. The fact that he's able to fully work kids, you may want to. Yeah. Oh. So I saw a thumbnail of the kids sitting on the pile of credits, and I genuinely thought that that meant Jod had been buried under all the credits from one of the vaults, and the kids had somehow survived on top, but interesting. Is there anything after the... Doesn't look like it. But just in case, I'm going to keep that going. Yeah, that was definitely not a bad ending. I will say that. It was a very good episode. I don't know. Just all the Jod stuff seemingly turned around out of nowhere, and we didn't really get much backstory. Like, I know it makes sense, it's not a Jod show, and we did get some of his backstory where he was a kid after the events of Order 66, where he was found by a surviving Jedi, trained a little, and then his master was shot in front of him. We've got no idea who the master is, because we don't really know any female that survived only to be gunned down in the following years, because that gap between the Order 66 and Andor really is a part that still has a lot that can be explored. So the people saying that Jod himself was a survivor of the Jedi Purge was wrong, but he did, in a way, was affected by Order 66. There's no real closure as to what happened. Like, it's implied that he's going to be arrested by the New Republic forces as they storm the Supervisor's Tower. But other than that, I don't really get Wim calling out to Jod in the top of the tower if the ship was not careening towards it. Like, you just spent the last day or so dealing with this guy, trying to get away from him and everything. You finally get it so that the police are coming to arrest the guy, and you call out to him to join you. Like, I don't really know what that was about. I thought if the ship was coming straight for the Supervisor's Tower, and Wim was showing one last ounce of goodness and being like, "Hey, Jod, come with us, save yourself from this fate," then that makes sense. But it wasn't. He just stood there watching as the ship slowly floated past on its way down. So all of the all of the good guys survived, including 33. I thought they were going to have to, like, rebuild him or something, but the fact that he's... I can't even really say that, because, like, C-3PO was able to work without his head. So we do have precedent in Star Wars canon. What was it, Attack of the Clones? Where he gets his head switched out, and, like, his head's still conscious, his body's still conscious, and then they get switched with the battle droid. So, like, there's precedent of droids being, well, specifically humanoid droids being able to function with their head disconnected. I just would have thought that because it was chopped off, that it would have been a different story. Yeah. It was a good episode. The one thing I will say is the children actors in this were phenomenal. Like, so you know what I mean when it comes to child actors. Like, they have a tendency to both overact and underact, and you can't really put that on them because they're still children. They're still learning the art of acting in that. But there was no point throughout any of this where any of our main cast was, like, unbelievable in their character. Like, they were well-written children, which I feel would have helped the children relate to their characters more with, hey, these just happen to be children in space going on an adventure. So just build off of what you do with your friends. And so that probably did help with the actors. Jude Law, his character, I still don't know what to think about. Like, when we met him at the start, he was very self-serving in that. But over the course of the 4 episodes that we had him working with the children, he was seemingly growing closer and closer to actually caring about them. Like, he imparted Jedi wisdom onto Wim. Like, even everything, that is him opening up about his past with this kid he barely knows to comfort him in that situation. And, like, it worked. It seemed like he was genuinely caring about the kids. Like, he went out of his way to save them at Akron. He was like an exasperated father in Lanupa. And then, yeah, I don't know what would have happened. I also don't know what would have happened had it just been him and the kids traveling back to Manhattan. Like, if he hadn't been captured by his old crew, if it was just the 5 of them and the 6 of them on the Onyx Cinder with Jot as captain, taking the kids back, what would he have done? Would he have still taken over the planet? Like, or would he have just loaded the treasure and left? I still reckon he would have had the issue with the supervisor, but he only really met the supervisor because he was trying to get his ship into orbit, so yeah. Curiouser and curiouser. But I will say that this ending both does and doesn't feel like it's the same story for that character. Like, it's hard to describe. But other than that, having the children come together when using the skills and bonds that they built on their journey to take down this figure that they thought cared for them, while also getting two of their parents in on the action. It was really good storytelling. And KB's parents, where they in the first time we meet them, it's like KB's life monitor has disappeared. She's not been away from us for this long, and you think, oh, they're just overbearing parents, and like they're gonna learn to let her do her own thing, and in a way, they did, but also we learn over the course that actually she does have like pre-existing conditions that they're helping her with. And yeah, it's not the question of her capability. It's, hey, our daughter was in a horrific accident. She needs these things to survive. If she can't get maintenance, then what's going to happen to our daughter? So, and then when she's actually put in a position of, hey, you guys know I'm safe and everything, they're like, yeah, go do what you need to do. We'll listen to you saying keep out of the way. Well, they didn't really stay hidden. They were picked up pretty quickly, but still. And I guess we don't really have much to go on with Neil's parents, because we had Nuna like being the main driving force behind Wim's actions, which was then the driving force behind Farah's actions. But his dad only showed up in this scene for the walking and in the holo message in the last episode. So, despite it being the biggest family, the only one that has siblings that we know of, he's the family we know the least about. And yeah, I'm just thinking now, they left absolutely no indication of what AT-AT's going to do next. Like, the droid that's been running the civilization since the Republic, like, they got notification from the Republic of Order 66, which sort of does lead into the theory that, hey, this is in some way tied to Palpatine, because there was the theory put out that this is what funded Project Rebirth? No, Necromancer. Like, this is the funding behind the Final Order and everything. They used these credits that were being minted on AT-AT. And for them to have a droid as their leader, for them to have gotten message about Order 66, like, yeah, okay, no, because now I'm just remembering, didn't Palpatine address the Senate saying that the Jedi are traitors? Yeah, this attack on my life has left me horrifically scarred. And, okay, so maybe not. But anyway, back to what I started this ramble about. The supervisor that has been leading this planet since its inception, I assume, is now gone. No one else knows how to run it. And the barrier that protected the planet, it's gone too. The New Republic knows it exists, knows where to find it, which means that if anyone were to get into the New Republic system, they too would have knowledge of where to find this mythical place of treasure. And none of that was addressed. Like, at all. Which is really interesting. Also, there was no follow-up on the kids, no real follow-up on the kids leaving the planet and going away for, what, like a week? Maybe longer? Like, they'd probably have a hard time adjusting back to their planet now that they've seen all the stuff that's out there. And we did see that a little bit. We saw them using their experience to change Wendell's and Farah's minds. But this planet as a whole would need a lot more talking to. Also, I've just now realized that at least 3 of the 4 children have the same first letter of their name as their parent, as their main parent, I will say. Neil and Nuna, Wim and Wendell, Fern and Farah, and I don't know what KB's mum's names are. I keep forgetting. What was it? Skeleton Crew. They are the only ones that really had equal screen time. So you had Marie and Gary. So no, KB does it. It's a weird thing that I noticed, and if KB had of it would have been like irrefutable pattern, but no. But that is the end of Skeleton Crew. I enjoyed it. I don't know how they do a second season of this, because, well, this seemed like a self-contained story. Sure, the existence of At-Aten and these characters could have lasting effects on the wider reaching galaxy, but the story of these kids, I don't really see being able to continue unless there's going to be some integration with the New Republic and At-Aten, where these kids, because of their experience, are like given proprietary, like given jobs with the New Republic, like as consultants, and you could, or maybe Wendell and Farah from their high position, the high-ranking positions of the planet would have like correspondence with, because you'd think undersecretary means that she's next in line for head of the planet. So yeah, like the parents could come back, but I don't see how this can continue with the children's story. So I'm guessing this is the end of this, which is sad because this was a really good show. Anyway, I'm going to end this one here. So with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.